Welcome back to another quick review. As the title and thumbnail says, today we are talking about Resident Evil Requiem, the latest game in the Resident Evil franchise by Capcom. And let me just say this game is great, man. This game is outstanding. I genuinely had a ball. The entire, what was it, my entire 13-hour playthrough. Just I had so much fun. And if you're wondering, like, one of the things that's been kind of up, there's been a debate on the internet as of recently, is like, oh yeah, is this game worth $70? Your perception of value and what's worth it, that differs from person to person. But I personally think it is. I got my worth out of my $70, and I'm okay with it. I genuinely had so much fun with this game, and it's making me glad. It's making me happy that I got into horror as a genre last year. Last year was the first time I kind of dove into my horror. I'm 19 now, so like my 19 years of life. Never really been a big thing for me until last year. This was the game that kind of propelled that. I saw this trailer at the Game Awards. I was like, you know what? Let me finally give horror a shot. I did a whole bunch of horror movies, played a whole bunch of horror games, and now played through RE 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8 specifically. I didn't get around to I didn't end up getting back around to 5 or 6, unfortunately. But yeah, I got to play all of those, and I had a lot of fun with them. RE9 was just so much fun. One of the things that I really appreciated I really appreciate about this game is how it blended, um, action with horror. It's something that other Resident Evil games have been pretty good at, but this one especially, I think does a really good job, because you can go from the unspeakable horrors that Grace is going through in the average gameplay times, like the unspeakable horrors that she's going through. Next thing you know, you're Leon being John Wick. It's crazy, and I think it actually blends together really well. Normally, when you see something like that in anything, that transition tends to be a little bit jarring. I think in the case of Resident Evil Requiem, it just kind of works. And so if I were to speak on each route individually, each character story individually, I think I did enjoy Grace's more, because even though I'm more of an action person than I am a horror person, the thing about Grace's route is that the horror, I genuinely was having a great time, like just running around being scared. Like that genuinely made, like, I hate being scared. I still am not the biggest fan of being scared. I've also been a little bit desensitized now that I've been getting into more horror stuff, but like, I was just having so much fun. Everything is genuinely scary, whether it be atmospheric, jump scares, which don't happen too often, but still happen a lot. Monster or enemy design, Grace as a whole. I did say that I'd be desensitized to everything. I am still a coward at the end of the day. So I started in first person. I just ended up switching to third, because I was like, no, I am too much of a coward. I'm just not going to finish this game if I play it all in first person. This is RE7 was a hard game for me. Okay, RE7 was a tough game for me. But yeah, just genuinely everything about Grace's story. Grace's anytime you play the Grace gameplay, it was just phenomenal horror. I loved it, and then the basement as well. The care center as a whole was great. I think the care center is probably the best part of the game. But the basement especially, oh man, it's terrifying down there. It's horrifying down there. Yeah, it is still so much fun to play through. Leon's route was also really good. I don't think it's as good as Grace, as much as I love Leon as a character. I don't think it's as good as Grace, but it was still awesome. It's just Leon being John Wick. It's great. And I think where that route starts to lose people, from what I've seen online, is is when you get to Raccoon City, and you have to explore Raccoon City looking for detonator parts. And that part didn't bother me that much, just because I was having a lot of fun. I think Leon is just a fun character to play as. And then you get to the motorcycle thing and RPD, and it is just chef's kiss. It's chef's kiss from there on out. It is great. And then you get to the arc, and that is also such a great section. it starts like liquor start popping out everywhere. It's crazy. Um, the story. Listen, I understand that most people don't go into Resident Evil for the story, and I don't think. I think ultimately it's not the greatest thing. But for a Resident Evil game, it was still a pretty good story overall. Not every story has to be deep in order for it to be good. I understand that. Like I stand by that. But it was still a good story that I think propelled gameplay forward. At least complemented the gameplay well, complemented to the atmosphere of the entire game well, and I think works. It's a good Resident Evil story. If there was one complaint that I had about the story and about the game itself, I think the one complaint that I have about this game, and it's not too much of a complaint. Ultimately, I wish Grace had a bit more to do during the final boss. I wish it wasn't just Leon. I wish Grace got a little bit more involved in that final boss, but ultimately, Leon just ended up aura farming at the end of it. So I mean, he could be mad. Yeah, and then the last thing I really want to talk about is I cannot believe that this game even exists graphically. And this game hardly looks like a video game anymore. I think the last time that I felt this way about a game and how it looked was Batman Arkham Knight, which I first saw years ago. I first played a couple of years ago. I finally beat it very recently. For some reason, I don't know why I never beat it years ago. But like the last time I felt like this about a game was at Arkham Knight. This game's graphics and its art style in general are mind-blowing. The lighting, it's just amazing. It just works, especially when you get to like Raccoon City. I feel like you see like the sun and the lighting to Raccoon City is just phenomenal. The fact that this game runs at 60 FPS and like 1080 to 1440p on a base PS5 with no graphic options, because as far as I'm aware, because I did check, there's no like graphic mode or performance mode. The fact that it does that is crazy. Capcom had to have infused the RE engine with some kind of black magic. There just ain't no way. This game is one of the best looking games I've ever played. It is great. But yeah, overall, RE9 is now a top 3 Resident Evil game for me. I absolutely loved it. It's up there with like 2 and 4. Loved it. Would highly recommend it. I cannot wait to go back to it because I definitely will be going back to it at some point. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please go play Resident Evil Requiem. It's amazing. See ya. Bye.